When the technology gets good enough, cheap enough, and fast enough, that's when mass disruption happens.
What are the constraints and capabilities that you're really seeing right now that people are not aware enough of?
The capabilities are just taking these massive leaps forward where narrow AI is just excelling humans in every single area that I can see.
I find that the AI is training me as much as it has already been trained.
AI can already make better decisions than people. Eventually, AI will run the government. Organizations are slow, dumb AI. Right now, probably 1,000 people in the world are using AI to its fullest extent.
Very transparent that I use AI in everything.
Service-oriented economies, which is basically the West, are in trouble.
You know, I'm quite fascinated by the fact that my knowledge of AI is so minute. But when I talk about it to my followers and what I've discovered and what I have learned and what tools I'm using to enhance not only my everyday life, but also my YouTube channel and building my own AI agents to take care of my billing, my email responses, some of these things that are so mundane that would take up a shitload of my time, it's being done by a mechanism that's quite simple and rudimentary. I'm writing 2 books. I'm putting together digital courses, all in the effort of actually moving ahead, you know. But when I teach others this, I'm shocked by the mere fact that most people don't even use any of these simple tools that I'm using. And that is why I want to keep bringing you more AI news, because this lack of attention to what is transpiring in today's day and age, especially in the days of AI, I think is going to hurt a lot of us. And what I see with this technology, that the fact that it's moving so fast, it's going to leave a lot of us blindsided. And what I'm trying to do in today's video, my friends, is to actually wake up your consciousness so that you will realize that if you do not get in with this game, or at least learn the basics of AI, the AI game, that you're going to technically be screwed. Yes, I got to be that exaggerative, simply because I'm appalled by the lack of knowledge that my subscribers have. Listen, I'm supposed to be the old fart that a traditional is supposed to be going, yeah, I'm too old for that shit. I'm not interested in learning any of that stuff. I'm too old. I'm just going to do what I've been doing, and I can't. I can't. No. Any of you old farts out there that are my age, on the cusp of 60 or older, or in your 40s or 50s, you better know that you are up on this shit. Because if you think that, this is all going to come into pass when I'm gone, no, my friend, not at the rate AI is changing the world right now. And so in this particular segment, I want us to take a really deep look at and see what's going on. So my friends, hit the like button, grab a cup of coffee. Let's get into the world of AI. I never had a name for this segment because this particular subject covers so many different genres. There's going to be a social impact, there's going to be a financial impact, and there's going to be a political impact, and there's going to be the unknown impacts that we can't even see, because we don't even know how it's going to impact in all of these different areas. In other words, we don't know what we don't know, because this is all new to us. But enough talking. The main video I'm going to focus on today is this particular one here, and it's coming from, and the name of this channel is Tom Bilyeu, and the video is called Final Warning. This is how AI will end the middle class forever. Prepare now, by Mo Gaudat. And I thought this was a powerful interview, man. Now, this interview was 2 hours long, and I'm going to give you a small snippet of it, but I would strongly recommend that you go over there and watch the rest of it, because this gentleman here was one of the pioneers in this business. He knows his stuff. His insight is unparalleled. I don't think I've ever listened to a more well-informed or well-thought-out individual who could actually see what's going to happen. And his insight sort of aligns with mine because it makes freaking sense. And that's why I want you guys to watch it. But this man has been sounding the alarm from the second this AI started to grow. So anyway, enough of me waffling. Hit the like button, subscribe, pick up my Content Creators Toolkit. Check out the description of this video for all of my great offers. And here we go. Let's do this.
The world is in the middle of the greatest period of change ever, but because we're in the middle of it, it is nearly impossible for us to accurately see what's going on. We are in the fog of war. While the world panics over job loss and killer robots, the real dangers are creeping in quietly and changing us in ways most people do not even notice. America and China are locked in a Cold War, and AI isn't just going to take people's jobs. For many, it will take their entire identity. It's already shaping what we believe, how we connect, and even what we value. Today's guest is issuing a very strong warning. His name is Mo Gadat, and he's the former chief business officer at Google X, best-selling author of the AI book Scary Smart, and one of the only people who truly understands both how AI works and what it's doing to us. In this conversation, Mo exposes how the American perspective is blinding us to China's true might, how AI is already changing everything, and how we can learn to navigate the rise of the machines well. Not look away. Here is Mo Gadat. I think of AI like a magic genie that can grant all of our wishes. The problem is, the lesson of every magic genie story is be careful what you wish for. What do you think we have to watch out for with AI?
AI is a genie that has no polarity. It doesn't want to do good. It doesn't want to do evil. It wants to do exactly what we tell it to do. And, there is a non-zero possibility. Some people say 10 to 20%. Elon Musk's view, Imad Mustaq says 50%, and so on. A possibility that we ever face an existential risk of AI. Think about it. 10 to 20% is Russian roulette odds. This is
you just gave him the chills. That's crazy.
Did you guys understand that? Russian roulette, spin the barrel on the pistol. There's a 20% chance that you'll blow your head off. But what he's saying basically is whether AI is going to cause a massive catastrophic decline to society, he's basically saying is about 20% or more. Think about that. Would you take the chance with Russian roulette or with AI? The problem is the AI gun is already loaded. Your hands is tied to that gun and it's pointing at your head. You don't have a choice. You have to pull the trigger. That's the hard part that we have to deal with.
Yeah, you wouldn't stand in front of the barrel at 10 to 20%, right? But my issue is that chronologically we wouldn't get there. My issue is that I think we have more urgent and quite crippling effects of human greed, human morality. Let's put it this way. I think the immediate negative impact of AI is going to be human morality using it for the wrong reasons. So they're going to make the wrong wish is my challenge, I think. And in my current writing in Alive, I basically try to explain that I'm almost convinced that there is a short-term dystopia that's upon us on the way to utopia. And that unfortunately the short-term dystopia is not reversible. So we're going to have to struggle with a bit of it, but it can be reduced in intensity and it can be shortened in time and duration. But that it's only wise to start preparing. And
if you guys understand what a dystopia is, meaning it's going to get really bad. It's going to get really bad before it reverses and get Ethiopia, good. Dystopia, bad. The bottom line is that we're going to see massive loss of jobs. We're going to see a massive disruption of our normal life that we currently live in. And this is the part that I'm trying to warn you guys about. It's going to hit the soft skill jobs first. Most of those jobs are held by women. That's why I'm always warning you women that you got to pair up and start to understand that you're going to be extremely vulnerable on your own. Governments aren't going to be able to save you because most governments not going to have enough money. Social programs are going to be non-existent. In most countries right now, we don't have enough young people in the workplace that can provide money to the social program. Most of us older folks, we're going to be in even deeper trouble.
That 100% of the short-term dystopia is not the result of AI. It's the result of the morality of humanity in the age of the rise of the machines.
All right, give me some specifics. What specifically are we going to point AI at that will become dystopian?
So I call them face RIPs. So just an acronym to try and remember. I don't say them in that order, but let's just quickly list them. F is freedom. We're going to redefine freedom. A is accountability. C is human connection or connectedness in general. E is economics. R is reality and our perception of reality at large. I is the entire process of innovation and intelligence itself and where we fit within that. And P is the most critical of all of them, which is the redefinition of power.
And these are all of the disruptors that I didn't even see before I watched this video. These are all of the things that will be disrupted. Your freedom. No one will want to take accountability for what's going on. They'll just blame it on AI. Our connection, our human connection, already we've seen that disrupted. I saw a documentary the other day on 60 Minutes where someone created an AI app that acted as a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And people want to marry it because it feels so real. And this is just on the phone. It hasn't even been plugged into one of the robots that are coming. The AI dolls are being manufactured in massive quantities and quality and in all different shapes and sizes and textures right now. But the AI, talking to the AI is so real that once you marry the doll, the robotic doll, and the AI technology, in your brain, eventually your brain is going to say, hey, this is a real person. He or she does exactly what I want it to do. It's insane. So connection, human connection will decline. Economics, we already know disruption is coming in as far as economics. I saw a video the other day. There's a school in Texas that do not have any teachers. It's all ran by AI. It's already started. I just built 2 apps over the course of one day, simply by talking to it and watching the app build itself. On one side, I'm typing in what I want done, and on the right side of the screen, the app is building itself. Within an hour and a half, I have a usable app. What do you think that does with computer programmers? Finish. Gone. It will do the same thing for a website. Not necessary to have website developers. That profession is gone. Teachers, web developers, computer programmers, personal assistants, that's just 5. I could just name off 5, just boom, that I use right now. Gone. Finish. Those professions are done. Reality. We won't be able to know what's real right now with Veo 3 that has just been dropped by Google. You can create videos where the actors are speaking, even with different accents.
We're not even real. We're here because someone typed a sentence on a computer in some distant universe. We're just prompts.
You're just prompts. That's all you'll ever be.
We're more than just prompts.
Then prove it. We are not just prompts. We are people. We are not prompts.
Ma'am, I can't cash this check.
What? Why?
Because you're not real. This is all just an AI prompt.
What are you crying about? We're not even real. We're here because someone typed a sentence on a computer in some distant universe. Sir, when are we going to tell the people they're just prompts?
Never. If the people knew they were AI, they would chase us underground. Why, this is one hell of an AI prompt.
What is this? Like, why do we exist?
Because the prompt said we could.
So, are we real or just AI?
There's so many Donald Trump videos out there with skirts on, doing some crazy things with Vladimir Putin. It's real hard to distinguish if they're real or not. Veo 3 is incredibly powerful. And just imagine, a year and a half ago, that first video came out, Will Smith eating spaghetti. The AI couldn't even get that right. It was just a mess. But now we have videos where every actor in Hollywood or Bollywood can easily be replaced. Easily. Full-blown movies can be recreated instantly. And I can tell you one thing. If you can barely see the difference between the real actors and an AI actor right now, and this technology will increase on itself 100% in 6 months. In 6 months, you won't be able to know the difference at all. So reality will just become a thing of the past. Innovation, yes. it will make us more innovative, but not to the benefit of the masses. That's why you need to get your fingers in the pie right now, because a lot of the large companies are just taking over. And then, of course, power. Whoever controls the technology, whoever is hosting the technology, they will have all the power. So you got countries who are controlling it. You got private institutions that are controlling the AI power. And whoever controls the bulk of this AI-generated power, those are the ones that are going to be ruling the world, my friends.
Right. And, if you want to understand them reasonably well, they're better understood in pairs. Right. So, you can start with the easier ones, the I and the E, if you want, the redefinition of intelligence and innovation, and how that impacts on the redefinition of economics. I think we understand that with, AGI depends on how you define it. It really doesn't matter, because my AGI has already happened. AI is definitely smarter than I am, so I'm done. Right. I don't care what the rest of humanity defines it at. That it's their moment. My moment has come.
AGI means artificial general intelligence, meaning, let me get the real definition on ChatGPT. What is the definition of AGI?
AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. It's a type of artificial intelligence that has the ability to understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a wide range of tasks at a level comparable to a human being. Unlike narrow AI, which is designed for specific tasks, be capable of performing any intellectual task that a human can, adapting to new situations, and even improving itself over time. It's often seen as the ultimate goal of AI research, representing a machine that can think, reason, and understand like a human being.
Have you reached there yet?
AGI hasn't been achieved yet. Researchers are still working on creating systems that can truly match human-level general intelligence. While there have been significant advancements in AI, current systems are still considered narrow AI, excelling in specific tasks but not possessing the broad, adaptable intelligence of a human. The timeline for achieving
If you have more knowledge than me as an individual, in essence, you are AGI compared to me. Each user has already been outclassed by you because you have more collective knowledge than all of us individually. So I think it's a bit deceptive to say that we haven't reached AGI.
Sure, I understand your point. It's true that I have access to a vast amount of information and can assist with a wide range of topics. However, AGI isn't just about having more knowledge. It's about a system being able to understand, learn, and adapt across any task or field the way a human can. While I can provide a lot of information and perform many tasks, I don't possess true general intelligence, self-awareness, or the ability to autonomously learn and reason like a human across all domains. So, while I'm advanced, I'm not AGI.
I still think that's subjective to each individual. You are definitely more intelligent than every single human on Earth, simply because of your ability to reason and to calculate and to compute at a rate where no other normal human can do on an individual basis, because you have the collective knowledge of practically all the information available.
Got it, Paul. Thanks for clarifying. Your point is definitely thought-provoking. The distinction between AGI and what I do is a nuanced one, but it's great to have these discussions about what intelligence really means in different contexts.
Okay, and this is how I think this whole thing gets deceptive when people say, oh, these are just machines, they don't know a lot, they're not smarter than us. When you say the word us, you are thinking from a collective where none of us operate from, none of us. We humans like to think that we're superior because you like to classify all of us together when we are competing against something else. However, in our everyday life, none of us communicate and cooperate collectively. None of us. But the artificial intelligence has the ability to pull information that we have given it. It has a collective brain. We don't. We have an individual brain. So, when it says that, hey, I haven't achieved AGI, exactly what Mo said, the machine has achieved AGI compared to him and to me. That's what you guys don't understand.
So if we agree that AGI is happening in a year, this year, next year, in a few years, it doesn't really matter, then as you and I both know, and we've been talking about several times, that means that the toughest jobs will be given to the smartest person, and the smartest person will be a machine, which basically will lead to two very significant shifts in our economics. One shift that basically moves the wealth upwards. So there is going to be a massive concentration of wealth for those who invest in the right places, and most importantly, for those who own the platforms. I mean, it's not a secret if you look at the history of humanity that, if you look at the best hunter in the hunter-gatherer tribe, could probably feed the tribe for a week longer than the second best hunter. And in return, he got the favor of more than one mate. That's the maximum wealth that he could create. But the best farmer could feed the tribe for a full season, if you want. And as a result, became a landlord and had estates and wealth and so on. The best industrialist became a millionaire in the 1900s. The best information technologist became a billionaire in the current era. And when you really think about it, the difference between them is automation. And automation, if you want, is, the automation of a hunter is a spear, but the automation of the farmer is the land, right? The soil. Okay. Most of the work is not done by the farmer, it's done by the soil. And when you look at the people who are currently building the platform AIs, they will own the soil, the digital soil, or the intelligence soil, if you want. And so they will, aggregate massive amounts of wealth. There will be a trillionaire before the 2030s for sure.
Ooh, so much information there, so much facts. That's the reality of it. I love how he's breaking it down so that we can understand where the distribution of wealth will move to. So what should you have taken away from that little piece? You should be looking at either investing in some of these companies that are heavily involved with artificial intelligence, the Google, the Microsoft, the OpenAI with ChatGPT, even some Chinese brands. Because to be honest, if you had the ability to get involved with Google at the beginning, when they first started to get into the search engine business, you would have done it, but you didn't. And you're kicking yourself now. I say put some money there now. Start looking at companies that are seriously involved with innovations with AI, even smaller ones, because I am almost certain that the big boys will start gobbling up any good companies that have innovated with AI. Those companies will probably gobbled up by the big boys, the Googles and the Microsofts. Just saying, man. Look at the opportunities. Look for opportunities, my friends. You need some of the power, and that power is going to come from having resources.
Right. The problem is, in that process, there is almost full poverty for everyone else. We call it UBI, but UBI really is not something that we've seen worked in history before. And UBI will come with demands, will come with authority, will come with choices. It can be very utopian in the long term, but it would be very dystopian until it's fully implemented, if you want. And even when it's implemented in the long term, it would impact on human purpose, human engagement, value, appreciation, and so on.
The individuals who will get universal basic income, you got to have to prove to the government or the individuals who are doing distribution that you're worth getting a certain amount. You're going to have to jump through hoops. Think about the social programs that we currently have. Let's just say hypothetically, you're only qualifying for social services or universal basic income if you make below $20,000. However, you make $20,500, just above freaking poverty. You're literally scraping by every single day, but you're not qualified for UBI. You're not, because you're making too much. It could get ugly. It could get ugly. So most people will more than likely not work, get UBI, but still don't produce anything. We see this all the time. People taking advantage of the system. I don't know, man. This is the unknown territory, and it's scary as hell. I don't see how money will have value if no one has any money to spend it. And if that money is being given away by universal basic income, then money will have no value. You guys let me know what you think, man.
So think about it this way: you're getting a dichotomy, or sort of an arbitrage between some people becoming incredibly rich to the point where money means nothing at all, and the majority becoming incredibly poor, where they're basically obedient to be fed. And
now, is that because, Mo, you think that they're going to lose their jobs? Going back to the statement you made that the 100%. Smartest people will get the hardest jobs. Okay. Yeah, 100%. Job loss is something that maybe not now. It's very interesting to go through these different things, but I do want to really dive into mechanistically how that's going to work. In fact, one thing I want to do before we keep going, and this is something that largely I've gotten distilled from you, is what I call setting the table for what's about to happen. So again, to plant a flag, you and I share a belief, and this is one of the reasons I like talking to you so much, is that, hey, this all ends in utopia, but we go through this brutal interim process that I don't think people understand how scary this is going to get.
Yeah, I see it. I can feel it. I can see it. To me, it's as clear as day. And any individual who don't see it, I think you really need to wake up. The experts of experts are telling you there's going to be massive problems. I actually read the comments. Whenever I do anything on AI, I actually have people on there who's saying, yeah, AI isn't real. Just dumbass statements like that. Like, oh yeah, that isn't real. That's gonna die down in no time because AI is just a hype. Where I'm using the damn thing every day to create. I'm seeing what AI is producing. And we have ignorant people like that who just ignorant to the point of being blind. I don't know whether they're doing the whole ostrich thing where they just stick their freaking head in the sand and say, oh, it's not happening. The world is not burning. Oh, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening here. I'm safe. I'm safe. Better wake the hell up, my friends.
So setting the table for that, you've got the rate of change is the thing that I think people are just not paying enough attention to. Everybody can wrap their heads around this thing gets smarter than me, but they're not understanding how fast this is happening. So if I'm not mistaken, and I know I'm very close if this isn't exactly correct, AI doubles in power every 5.7 months. So
yeah, I calculated 5.9. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, just like crazy town. So in less than 100%. 6 months, so it's going to double in power twice in a year.
Yeah. That is the scary part. So whatever you're witnessing right now, however good you see it right now, or whatever little twerks or whatever little kinks or little things that you see is wrong with it right now, in 6 months, 5.7, 5.9 months, you're going to see it improve 100%. 6 months. That should scare the shit out of you. Do this. We have never seen anything do this before. No technology that we've ever encountered have ever done this.
That is a rate of change that I think people are going to struggle with. Now, transitional moments always cause disruption. There is a certain rate of change that humans can deal with, but AI exceeds, at least from where I'm sitting, the rate of change that we can handle. And given that, so given that, things begin to spiral out of control. And you said something that I think is, I agree with, which is that AI will have the power of God. So with those, one, do you disagree with any of that?
No, I don't. I just want to double down on it and say that it's at 5.7 or 5.9 months in the absence of new innovation. So you have to imagine that.
Meaning that this could break free and go even faster.
100%. If quantum computing is solved, or if you find a completely new algorithm, or if AI start to teach each other rather than wanting us to teach them, if synthetic data becomes much easier to attain, and so on and so forth, there are so many. I mean, DeepSeek was just a blow for everyone. Like a week before, I think, was Stargate, $500 billion. And then DeepSeek comes out and says, we did it, I don't know for how much, like 33 times less than CHBT 4.0 or something like that.
So DeepSeek was the Chinese version of ChatGPT, for those of you that are not aware. Over in the US, Trump had just announced $500 billion big structure to push AI to the next level. And China came out with this one program that literally blew ChatGPT out of the water for 5 million. 5 million instead of 500 billion, $500 billion. Blew it out of the water because the technology increased on itself. The technology found a better way to do this. It's the technology that they're using to actually help them create a better technology. That's the scary part. That's the freaking scary part.
And it's not, it doesn't matter, because I heard your original analysis on DeepSeek, and that, they were cheating a little. And I agree, but, they're cheating with the same resources that OpenAI had. OpenAI could have taught their model the same way. Actually, as a matter of fact, they would have been more qualified to teach their model the same way. And yet they were continuously, focused on more and more and more resources, more and more compute, $500 billion worth. And then suddenly you wake up and you go like, no, I don't need to do that. I can reinvent something in the learning model, and it will give me massive improvements. And of course, most people at the time would go like, oh, so NVIDIA is going to go down the drain, and what will OpenAI do? They'll invest the 500 billion in the stuff that they now found. So suddenly you're doing it 33 times cheaper, but using, 10 times more investment. And there you go. It's going to accelerate even more and more. And it's hitting from every side, Tom. Like the algorithms are improving. The AI itself, with its math abilities, with its programming abilities, is going to be the next developer. So most of the big CEOs will talk about AI will be the best developer on the planet by the end of 2025. They don't talk about 2026, when the next AI beats that best developer on the planet. They can build stuff that we cannot even comprehend. And I think the pace of change, I got exhausted to try and explain this to people, because you really have to be an insider of tech to understand the meaning of the exponential function. If you live in any other industry, you're much more in the linear, trends. And this is not even exponential. This is not even double exponential. This is probably quadruple exponential in the absence of breakthroughs. It is just unbelievable. I've never lived in something so fast, ever.
Quadruple improvement on the invention without any major breakthroughs. That really hit me hard. We can't even keep up with it now, moving at a normal pace. Well, actually, DeepSeek was a breakthrough. That was just one. And it created something more incredible at a fraction of the cost. Imagine now throwing the same amount of money, the 500 billion, at the DeepSeek model and seeing what happens in 3-6 months? It's going to be mind-blowing. That's scary as shit. And why is it scary? It's because we're creating intelligence. Whether it's artificial or not, it's intelligence. We're creating something to compete with what makes us the apex creature on this planet. Our brain is what allow us as mammals to build a spaceship and go to other planets, go to the moon, create amazing weapons, being able to disrupt the weather. But we're creating something that is going to surpass us as the apex creature on this earth. That's the scary part. That's what should scare all of us.
Okay, so looking at that, and I don't know if you'd want to apply this directly to the letters or not, but I'm very curious when you think about, okay, AI is moving at a rate that humans are not able to comprehend, which then obviously they're not able to deal with this. What do humans do in the face of that level of disruption? Is there anything in history that you look to say, okay, this predicts how the human part of this equation is going to react?
So the only sad reality of humanity is that something has to break for us to react, right? You and I and everyone who had a tiny bit of a brain could have told you in 1999 that a pandemic is possible, right? It's really not rocket science at all. We had SARS, we had swine flu, we had so many, and then exactly 100 years after Spanish flu, 1920 to 2020, you get a few cases, which I wrote about in Scary Smart. The idea of not reacting. If we had reacting after If we had reacted after 20 cases, there would have never been COVID. But we had to wait, right, until it hits us in the face. And then we go like, ooh, right? Whether conspiracy or not, whether COVID is manufactured or not, is irrelevant. The relevance is we wait until it hits us in the face, right? And so something is bound to hit us in the face. I hope it's the lighter side.
That is so true. I remember when COVID first came out and, the news was sort of nonchalant on the whole thing. Oh, we only have 2,000 cases worldwide. No one gives a shit because one of those 2,000 cases weren't your mom or your dad or your wife or your kids. Then when it started to hit massive amounts of people, only then was when governments reacted. This is the problem that we have as a species. Enough people have to die in order for us to care. So this is a clear indication that this whole dystopia that will occur when this AI starts stripping away jobs slowly. It's going to start slowly. It's already started. No one is taking really big notice of it right now. Governments aren't really concerned. But when it starts to happen in the hundreds of thousands and then it hits the millions, politicians will have no choice but to realize, holy crap, my constituents are crying and I don't have a solution to it. Then and only then will it start to become a problem. But by then, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your mother, your uncle, they might have already been thrown out of their home because they can't pay their mortgage. They would have already lost their cars, their credit line. Everything would have just been stripped away from them. A lot of people are going to go through a lot of pain before they react. COVID is a perfect example of that.
Right. But, a massive hack of some kind of security or and I don't know how to say this without upsetting people. Some things have been hitting us in the face. In the wars of 2024, there was so much killing done by machines, right? In today's budgets, there is so much investment in autonomous weapons. And if you've ever searched on YouTube around defense conferences, the level of bragging that defense manufacturers are, they're bragging about, look, this is how I'm going to kill from now on. And, they throw a little drone in the air that flies all the way to a test dummy and shoots it in the head, right? And I don't know when humanity wakes up. I honestly don't. I mean, in a very interesting way, I think your question is probably the best question ever, which is, what do you do to prepare for this? And in Alive, I write a section which I actually feared that people will be upset with, but it got a lot of support. I called it a late stage diagnosis.
When he said people get upset, a lot of people got upset. This is the problem that we currently have in this world. People don't want to face reality. People don't want to deal with the harshness of reality. Reality is a bitch because we have conditioned ourselves to that everything in life is supposed to just revolve around isolating us into this imaginary fairy tale of life being so kumbaya. So beautiful, so perfect. No one wants to get upset. You can't say any bad words on YouTube. Can't use the R word. You can't use, you got to use words like self-delete. You got to use the pacification of our society is so incredibly frustrating that we live in Delulu land. We are so delusional as a society. It's crazy. But what that does, it does not prepare us for the inevitable problems that we will ultimately face. That's why women leave marriages and then realize later on, holy shit, all of those freaking women on TikTok that's been telling me, leave your husband, girl, it'll be okay. No, it's not okay.
Right? Which basically is an analogy between, a doctor who finds that his patient is diagnosed with a late stage malicious disease, and what we're going through, and people normally ask me, how do you speak about this so calmly, and how do you continue to focus on trying to do the best that you can? It's because that's what the best doctors will do. They'll simply sit you down and say, look, we found this, right? But that doesn't count as a death sentence, right? This basically is to tell you that you need to wake up, you need to change your lifestyle, right? You need to take certain measures and there will be no problem, right? And I think the challenge is that humanity is not taking those measures. We're still entering
But how do we get that?
of-
How do we get that diagnosis to people? To me, it seems self-evident that what's going to happen is people are going to start losing their jobs. They are going to squawk. They understand political machinations, so they're going to protest. They're going to make demands of the government. And the question that I have is, what demands will they make, and how will we play that out? And so I'm curious.
Guys, I'm going to cut it right there. This is fascinating. I've only covered 15 minutes of this, my friends. I would strongly advise you guys to go and watch the rest of it. But I wanted to bring this to you today so that you will understand that this isn't something that you should look at lightly. You got to prepare, my friends. Each and every one of you who watch my channel, I want to prepare you for some dark days ahead. I'm always saying it, but I want to back it up by some expert opinions so that you don't just feel that that's just the older man, blowing smoke up our tail ends. I hope you learned something from this video, my friends. Subscribe, book a session, and of course, pick up my Content Creators Toolkit. And more importantly, the digital, where you have access to over 8,500 pieces of content already created for you. All you have to do is just personalize it. So my friends, let's have a big discussion in the comment section. And so until tomorrow, remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. And see you soon. Cheers.